They said he was charming, handsome, intelligent. They also said he looked like someone you could trust, someone you might even help if he asked. But behind that disarming smile was something truly horrifying. This isn't just a story, it's a warning. Because evil doesn't always wear a scary face. Sometimes it wears a smile. Ted Bundy was born on November 24, 1946 in Vermont. He grew up believing his mother was a sister, a lie that left deep emotional scars. He was polite, smart, quiet, the perfect child on the outside. But behind closed doors, things were different. Even as a child, he showed signs of manipulation and cruelty. He studied psychology at the University of Washington, volunteered at a suicide hotline helping people in crisis. He dated a wealthy, sophisticated woman who eventually broke his heart. The rejection shattered him, but he hid it well. Ted worked for the Republican Party. He was even recommended to law school by the governor of Washington. To everyone else, he was destined for success. But inside, a storm was brewing. On January 4th, 1974, a young woman named Karen Sparks, a student of the University of Washington, was brutally attacked in her basement bedroom. She survived but suffered permanent brain damage. Then on February 1st, another woman, Linda and Healy, disappeared from her home. Blood was found on her bed, but she was gone. Weeks passed, another woman vanished, then a teenage girl. All the victims had something in common: white, slim, long dark hair, parted in the middle. Fear began to grow. Women were terrified to go out at night. Something or someone was haunting. Then on January 4th, 1974, a young nurse named Janice Ort vanished in broad daylight from a crowded park. Hours later, another girl, Denise Nosland, also went missing from the same park. Some said they saw a man wearing a sling on his arm, asking women for help near a town Volkswagen. Then came a turning point. A woman named Carol DeRanch managed to escape. She fought back, jumped from his moving car, and ran for her life. She was the one who gave the police a description: young, attractive, clean-cut, dark hair. The sketch was released, and people started calling in. Several said that looked like Ted Bundy, but the police brushed it off. He was too clean, too educated. He didn't fit the profile of a serial killer. Then his girlfriend called, Elizabeth Klober. She told the police she suspected her boyfriend, but there was no solid proof, so they did nothing. The truth? Ted Bundy was already far more dangerous than anyone knew. He had a routine. He'd fake an injury, wear a sling or pretend to limp, then ask women for help, to carry books or load something into his car. And when they leaned in to help, he'd strike with a crowbar, knock them out cold, kidnap them, assault them, kill them. And that's not the end. He would return to their bodies days later and do the unthinkable. He admitted to decapitating 12 of them. Sometimes he kept the head as trophies. Bundy eventually confessed to over 30 murders, but the real number is likely much higher. Linda and Healy, taken from her own bedroom. Janice Oates and Denise Nosland, both kidnapped from the same park. Melissa Smith, the daughter of a police chief, brutally raped, strangled. Laura Amy, left in the mountains. Deborah Kent, vanished from a school theater. And Kimberly Lish, only 12 years old, stolen from school. Her body discovered weeks later. In 1975, Bundy was finally arrested in Utah. Inside his car, police found handcuffs, ropes, ski marks, and a crowbar, a killer's kit. But they didn't know the full extent of what he had done. Then he escaped from a courthouse library. He jumped out a second-story window, vanished for days. Caught again, but then he escaped again. This time, through a hole in the ceiling of his jail cell. He fled to Florida and the killing started again. He entered the Chi Omega sorority house at Florida State University. He beat and strangled 2 women to death, brutally attacked 2 more, then fled. Soon after, he adopted Kimberly Lish, the 12-year-old girl. Her death would be his final known act of horror. Bundy was finally caught during a traffic stop. He gave a fake name, but they had him. His trial became the first televised trial in US history. He defended himself in court, showed off, played mind games, and even then, women adored him. They packed the courtroom, sent him love letters. Some said he was too handsome to be guilty. One woman, Carol Ann Boone, even married him in court and later had his child. Bundy was sentenced to death, and on January 24, 1989, he was executed in the electric chair. Outside the prison, people cheered, celebrated. The nightmare was over. Ted Bundy remains one of the most studied serial killers in history. Bundy changed the way the world sees serial killers. He didn't hide in the shadows. He stood in plain sight. He was normal, smiling, friendly, charming, and that was the scariest part. So if there's one lesson, is this: be careful who you trust. Monsters don't always look like monsters. Sometimes they look like your neighbor, your classmate, your co-worker, your partner, and even your church member, or the man with a broken arm asking for a little help. Some wear suits, smiling politely, but trust your instincts. Don't ignore that uneasy feeling, because sometimes the most dangerous people are the ones who seem the most harmless. To the woman who survived, your strength is the light in the darkness. You stared into the eyes of evil and lived. Your courage speaks for the silence. Even if the pain still lingers, even if the memories return in waves, you are not broken. You are brave. You are a proof that even in the face of unimaginable fear, survival is possible, and your voice matters. To the souls we lost, you were daughters, sisters, friends. You had dreams, you had laughter, you had futures stolen far too soon. We say your names not to relive the horror, but to remember the light you was brought into the world. May justice honor you. May your stories be told, not with fear, but with dignity. You are not forgotten. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, and share.